What on earth is that? It's a Journey into Comics Network production!
Tell me something, my friend. You ever dance with the devil in the pale moonlight? What? I always ask that of all my prey. I just like the sound of it.
Brought to you by the power of the Journey into Comics Network. This is the Journey into Comics podcast, the show that's 100% dedicated to everything nerd. With your hosts, the Podfather, Nate Phillips, the Podmaster, Brandon Stone, and the Journey into Comics Network stepdad, Tyler McLaughlin.
Time to make the chimichangas.
30 seconds.
Hey! Excellent!
Finally. What did you do? Alfred. And here we go.
Can somebody tell me what kind of a world we live in where a man dressed up as a bat gets all of my press? This town needs an enema.
What's up, true believers? I forgot we were officially started. What's up, true believers, and welcome to another episode of Journey into Comics. This is episode 341. And
Save Brando.
And despite this showrunner's best efforts and reminder of, hey, are you guys ready to go? And then us sitting here for the entire intro to let it play out and record on the intro, I usually tell Nate, hey, go, talk, do the intro. And literally, as the intro was wrapping up, they're just over there just chilling and having a nice little conversation, just like we're not doing a podcast. But here we are today doing a podcast. Of course, you know, it's going to go up just a little bit late, but it's kind of cool because we all get to be together and podcast for Nate's birthday. Happy birthday, Nate.
Oh, thank you, Brando. That's awesome. I'm 34.
Me too.
Charles Barkley, ward number 34.
It's just plain terrible.
Walter Payton, ward 34. Sweetness. Shaq, ward 34.
Eventually.
Behemoth. What?
I said eventually.
Eventually, yeah, he did start at 32. Anyways, today we're not alone because I got a dick with me.
Hey,
What's up, bro?
happy birthday, man.
Dude, thanks. You're in my
I
house.
haven't said that yet,
Thank
but
you.
I wanted to say it. I wanted to wait to say it
I'm glad you said it officially on the
because now the
podcast.
world knows.
The world does. You know, I tell you guys, it's really strange. From where I was at 33, starting like 32 to 33, and then now 33 to 34. Whew. Whirlwind of a change in my existence. But I am glad to be here, finally doing JIC 341. We are on the road to 350. Don't really know what we have special planned. It's really hard to plan things right now with as busy as we've all been. Literally, scheduling has been a nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we're here late. That's why we're here doing it and giving you guys our best efforts. That being said, Dick, how's it going with you, my man?
It's going. It's
Cool.
going. Just been doing the rank 'em all thing, you know.
Oh,
that
yeah,
that we've done
series.
together.
Yeah.
Doing that with Nick and the boys, the dudes,
The Deuterinos.
and the Dudio.
Yeah, so the dudes are doing Between the Buried and Me. Those are getting
Yeah.
ranked as we speak. And there may be a little bit of a change about their release because we like to have all the episodes done before we actually
Yeah.
hit the release. So there may be, you know, we've already announced on the Rank 'em All page when they were going to come out. That could possibly, that's going to change. But we're nearing the end of that series.
Mm-hmm.
And we are starting, on at least on my end, to get those episodes out and get them edited down. To be
So-
posted.
Yeah. Also, with that, there is no like video. There is a video. There's gonna be video for it. It's just not gonna be quite like Rank 'em All Metallica, where you see our faces and you see us reacting to each other, and it's gonna be audio only.
I kind of like it, though, because it does give it a different vibe and a different feel for
It does.
that series.
But like, so we recorded video for the very first episode,
Uh-oh.
and then the second one, we just forgot. And then we're like, well, we literally can't do video like the rest of the time now.
Yeah, because you can't go back and re-record something and make it feel natural. It's really difficult. We've done that. We've all done that.
Is that just because you guys are so used to the setup for you guys, half or Brews with Dudes, you just got rolled right into?
I think so. Nick and I talked about it because I think when we did the first episode, we couldn't get everybody in the picture because we were going off his phone.
I see.
But he's talked about, so we're going to do an episode in between to kind of introduce, like it's like an in-betweener between Metallica and BT Bam, where we introduce the new cast of rankers. That sounds so like a wanker. but like rank, we're a bunch of rankers. But yeah, so we're gonna introduce the
I'm
new
a
cast,
ranker.
the dudes, to the Rank 'em All listeners, and I don't know if I want to tell you guys what we're going to rank, but it'll be a hoot. Let me tell you. But I think we are gonna go live for that.
Wow, cool.
Either gonna go live or it's gonna be in video form. But Nick's gonna pull out the Sling Studio so we can get multiple angles going on at once, kind of like he does for his live shows. So that's something to look forward to here in the next couple weeks. I'm excited to get this one done and take a break from Rank 'em All for a month or two, whatever.
And as Brandon and I still trek along, we've had a little bit of a break from doing our next ranking because it's never ending. There's millions of bands that exist in the world, lots of great albums that have existed, a lot of terrible albums that have existed as we're learning. But at some point, we'll be finishing with that series too, and then there's another series in the works, and then another series, and we've got a whole list of things. And I'm really loving and excited for that show because I feel like Rank 'em All is one of those shows that maybe right in the first, we did catch a little bit of fire and got some people talking about it and whatnot. But I think that as time progresses, as more artists and bands get acclimated to what we're doing in that style, more people are going to be interested in who are we going to rank next? What series is going to come next? And that's going to be really fun.
We also have a lot of different ideas about what we're going to do to try and like placate some of the more time sensitive viewers or listeners to where all the podcasts that we do are very long-term discussion. We go song by song down each and every album. So there are ideas about what to do with some bands or artists we don't have a desire or don't have a long enough crew to sit down for an entire discography. So maybe coming up down the pipeline, you could start seeing like what we do. We after the episode airs over on Facebook, you guys get a one or two song like a preview from the album. Just we pick a song, you guys get to sit there and watch us discuss that song and rank that song. So that what we may do is something like that, where it's kind of like a short one-song clip, but there isn't a long-form album discussion on it yet. There's always a potential that if we do a song, like for example, just throwing it out there, Korn's Freak on a Leash. Okay, so we rank Korn's Freak on a Leash, just that one. But then maybe sometime down the pipeline, whether it's a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, who knows? Someone's like, hey, we're going to rank the entire Korn discography. We already did that one. Well, guess what? We get to revisit it then. Maybe it's not even the same crew that's doing it. Maybe it's maybe there's only one or two guys that did the original rank for that one. But now we get to sit back and does it still hold up? Even compare it to the original shorts rank. So that's something that has kind of loosely been discussed as well. But Rank 'em All, I'm really excited about the project still, even though that show has also suffered a bit. Not for you guys yet. You guys haven't had that or seen any of that. As far as our scheduling goes, scheduling has been very hectic. I've been busy. There's a lot of projects here at my house I'm trying to get done. And it's difficult sometimes to come back and be like, all right, I need a window here that I can do this. And that sometimes that window doesn't co-align with everybody else's window, or that window shortens, or it's life, dude. Life happens. And that may continue to happen on this show. We're going to try and not to let too many episodes go by without an episode or hearing from us. Of course, with things like for Falcon and Winter Soldier wrapping up next week, we're going to try and be on the top of that. And Invincible, I believe, is also wrapping up 2 weeks from now. Yeah, so we're going to be talking about those finales and those seasons as a whole for sure. But just bear with us as we go through this. We know that you guys like to hear what we have to say, and we like talking to you guys. And I, in retrospective, as I get older, Nate, as you get older, Blaine, as you continue to be
I see
Blaine.
what you did there.
As we continue on this march and we have jobs, we have families, I'm no longer locked into we have to release a show every week. I'm not in that camp. That's not me. Nate, do you still listen on to one of our favorite podcasters, one of the guys that really got us into it? But Kev Smith has Fat Man Beyond, and how infrequent sometimes they release.
Oh yeah, but he does those interesting little clippies, just rapid reacting to shit too. So that's a way to definitely kind of do when we can't do.
Right. But it's just sometimes I think about that and go, you know what? We are really dedicated to our audience and we still want to be, but like, it'll be all right. I think they'll understand. I think they understand. If we disappear for a week or two because of life, it'd be all right.
Dick, will you understand?
Yeah, for sure. Of course, because I'm a giant fan of this show. Have been for quite a while. And in fact, it inspired me to get on a network with this show and do my own podcast. But anyways, I want to pull an executive move right now and announce something for Rank 'Em All that I haven't discussed with you guys. But guess what? Since we're all on board officially, we're going to rank Disturbed at some point.
I'm excited. That's going to be amazing.
I talked to Nick about that because we have the list. And I noticed like you guys were down for Disturbed. I was down for Disturbed and he still hadn't checked it. I'm like, so I guess most of us are going to be doing Disturbed. He's like, is that on there? I'm like, yeah. He's like, oh yeah, I'll do Disturbed with you guys. Hell yeah. So
good.
We're doing Disturbed sometime.
Yep.
Eventually.
When it comes to, when you're trying to get schedules going for more than 3 people, 3 people's hard, 2 people's hard enough sometimes to get that set down.
1 people is hard enough.
1 people is hard enough.
And then you got the one guy who does everything on Earth. So yeah, it gets hectic with the scheduling for sure.
So yeah, we're definitely gonna try and get these projects to you guys as quick as we can. But fellas, this weekend brought us what? It was episode 5 of Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Truth.
Okay, so like my wife has been telling me, we have a joke here at the house where it's Falcon and Winter and Falcon Soldier. So that's just kind of how I've been saying it. So if I say it wrong on accident, know that I've been saying it wrong on purpose too much. But
noted.
What'd you guys think of this week?
This week definitely for me brought a lot of emotional punch. Like overall, you're building to this very interesting story where we have the fallout of John Walker snapping.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't mean like Thanos snapping. I mean the motherfucker lost it and essentially replicated. I don't know if you guys noticed this. Replicated Steve Rogers in Civil War, but didn't take it to the extreme. He took it to the extreme, unlike Steve Rogers did, and killed dude. Oh shit! I just knocked that over. That happened. Fuck, my bad. So,
podcasting guys,
it's real time. We're live, pal. But this whole episode is building towards that finale. This is the penultimate, so we're kind of gearing towards the culmination of what the story has. But I feel like there's a lot of story left still for them to have to tell for only 1 episode be left. Does anybody else feel like that?
I feel like that too. I feel like there's definitely going to be a season 2. I don't know if that's ever been announced in development, but I know WandaVision's staying 1 season. Clearly.
Well, yeah, because it's kind of a self-fulfilling arc.
Loki will have 2 seasons.
That's interesting.
That's been confirmed. Other than that, everything else has just been only announced for 1 season. But with the amount of story, they would have to either go into a movie or go another season.
Because you got to think, right? Well, I guess not true because they just, technically speaking, unless he's some sort of last-minute MacGuffin, they did in this episode wrap the Zemo story.
Yeah.
To a pretty fine point. So that is taken off the board.
Same with the boat and the part that we had at the beginning of the series where they were talking about the shrimp and boat and all that jazz. So that's kind of been dealt with. So now what we have left on the table are, the aftermath of John Walker and the aftermath with Sam, because like you can, I think Bucky is mostly wrapped, like his arc mostly got wrapped up with the Zemo arc. Mostly, he's still going to be around, you know, and do that thing. Also, I like the fact that he was eyeing up Sam's sister.
Hey Sarah, like that shit was hilarious to me. I was laughing so hard.
But no, I feel like the last episode here is gonna pretty solidify everything else that's really on the table. Despite their feeling like there's a lot, we only have 3 major things to really still worry about. We have the whole Rise Up thing.
Carly, and the Flag Smashers.
Flag Smasher. See, I started playing Miles Morales, and there's a group in there called Underground. I almost called them Underground, because yeah, I mean it's still Marvel.
It still is. You're not wrong.
Doing her stuff, anyways. So we still got that, and I think that's gonna culminate.
That's where he's heading right now.
Right. I feel like that's gonna culminate with a Sam and John showdown, because what I wasn't necessarily expecting, I'm not sure if you guys can hear, but there's like lawnmowers in my background.
No, I don't think we can hear him. Can we hear him? Can you hear him?
Nope.
I can't hear him.
Well, our audience might. So
There's lawnmowers in our background.
Yeah.
You hear those?
It's the lawnmowers of our existence.
Yep, on both ends. Just making sure our audience hears that shit.
Have you guys seen the trailer for this week's episode?
No.
Nope. I don't watch the trailers.
Oh.
I don't either.
Okay.
I've genuinely not seen a single trailer.
I'll shut my mouth then.
The
Except for
interesting thing is, here I am not wanting to watch these trailers and just enjoy the episodes as is. And later on in this very episode that we're recording today, we're going to be talking about possible leaks for a movie way later on that if these leaks are true and I've now seen them, may hinder some of my enjoyment of them just because I wouldn't be going into it as fresh. They call back to Rise of Skywalker and Game of Thrones for that, because both of those got completely 100% spoiled for me before I even got there. So
yeah, like the trailer for last week's episode was basically the opening scene for Truth.
Oh.
So
do you know who did the whole like sneak peek trailer thing better than anybody? AMC's The Walking Dead. When you would watch like the
Next
talking
time on AMC.
No, not even that. Okay, so with that you would get like a little like, oh crap, something's gonna go down. But then in Talking Dead, they would be like, we have an exclusive scene of next week's episode, and you'd watch it, and it would have nothing to do with anything. 90% of the time, you're like, is this like minute 6, and you give me like a 40-second clip of them rolling up on a place in a car and then stepping out and looking at it, and then they walk in, and then, oh, I can't wait to watch next week, folks.
What happened when they got in the building? We'll have to find out.
Yeah, well, we'll have to find out next week on The Walking Dead. Also, don't forget to check out Fear the Walking Dead, and also The Walking Dead World Beyond, as well as The Walking Dead Rick movie and The Walking Dead Carol and Daryl show, and now
now Negan.
and now possibly a Negan show.
Yeah, that's great.
I mean,
I still need to watch the Here's Negan episode.
Same here, but I read everything about it, and it was. Without even watching it, it got a 2 thumbs up just from hearing about it. I don't know what else is going on in the show, but I heard that was really good.
Yeah. I need to finish season 10.
I heard it actually beat the crap out of the week prior where like Carol made soup.
Yep.
Like I guess that was the episode.
They were just extra episodes that they're throwing at the end. So
no, well, and they were also filmed during COVID, so like you could only have so many actors and everything on set. And it's very stringent. So like they were some of those more isolated episodes. I like how we just did the old school GIC tangent into something else that we're not even really watching, by the way.
Not even. I'm the most clueless motherfucker on earth.
I've seen the season before the one they're wrapping up, but I haven't watched the whole season.
I haven't watched all of season 10 leading up into these episodes.
Okay.
So.
I think I stopped watching at 8. When did Carl die?
8.
Yep, that was it.
Okay, so season 9, Nate, was actually.
I know we've had this conversation.
Surprisingly good, and from what I understand, 10 is pretty good too. But
damn it.
It just gets to the point of like, how much do you care anymore? I guess would be that level.
Well,
don't.
Can I say something, Brando? And just to continue on our accidental tangent here, the classic accidental tangent, you know? When the story in the comics is tenfold better and emotionally, like, listen to me, I will say it again on this show, and I've said it, I beat a dead horse to death 6 times, and yeah, it's the horse that Rick is riding in the second cover of the series. That same horse I've
It's
beaten
dead.
to death. It's dead, and it was actually an undead horse, and I killed that sumbitch and beat that to death too, because emotionally speaking, the story they told in the comics was 10 times more powerful than I could have imagined, and they wrapped it in a beautiful manner that left you like, oh shit, like I could not have predicted that this is where they would go. As a fan, you have to give me that expectation in the show, and there's no way, especially with what they did with the characters. You can't have, spoiler alert here, sorry folks, you can't have an epic moment with Carl reminiscing with his daughter about the legend of his father if fucking Carl is dead in season goddamn 8. It does not compute. You can't have an epic moment where Negan and Carl interact and have this amazing bond, and I get it, they did it with Judith and all this blah 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 blah. My issue is the Carl story had so much weight because Carl is the first Spawn who witnessed the fallout of Negan's wrath. He wasn't just some boy who was naive and then grew up and Negan was this bad guy in a cage like Judith. Carl lived that shit. People he loved died at the hands of Negan and the entire Saviors. Like, that story is powerful. What they did on the show just can't touch it because of the decisions they made. And I get it. You're trying to swerve the audience and keep people guessing, and you don't want people to know what's going to go on. And you want to pay some homage to the comics, but you don't at the same time. Like, fuck, man. You just fucked it up, though. My opinion.
So I actually like what they've done. One of the things I feel like the show did better than the comics is Negan for the most part. I actually think they have a better grip on it. I feel like it's better told. The only thing that isn't there from the comics, and we didn't get that due to Rick hightailing it and leaving, doing his thing, is this whole Willy Woney what's going on with Negan thing. Right at the very beginning of the Whisperer thing, right? Because there's the whole thing where he gets out, and they do that completely differently in his version, or like in the show version. But I also felt like that version maybe not be better, but it serves a different purpose. I really liked when he got out. He didn't seek out the Whisperers. He went to like the old Savior hideout and was just walking around looking at his destroyed kingdom. You know, and then there's one of the Saviors. He's talking to him, and he ends up beating him up and killing him again, right? And then where does he go? He walks right back to the cell. And I really like some of that that they've done, and I also I think a lot of that has to do with how much Jeffrey Dean Morgan understands and gets this character, because without his portrayal, I don't think it would be nearly as good, even if they are deviating. And I feel like I feel like he gets a great grasp on where they've gone and then where you can go and where they have gone in the show with him. Like, you know, diving into the layers that is Negan Smith. That is his last name, by the way.
Oh,
Really?
Negan Smith. So, the show confirmed it, right? The show confirmed it. It's
Okay.
it's on the mailbox outside Negan's house, and it was confirmed based off of a Robert Kirkman.
Letter hack?
No, not letter hack. It was a question he got at a con. It was like a big Q&A session with members of the cast and Kirkman, and a question for Kirkman is, what is Negan's last name? And his reaction was like, I don't fucking know. He's like, I don't sit here and think about everybody's last fucking name. It's like, I think of the character, I give them a name, and I thought Negan was a really weird name for a different kind of cat that he was making. And He goes, and you have no idea how many fucking times I get that goddamn question. You know what? His last name's fucking Smith. How you like that? You know, and Jeffrey D. Morgan says, I believe his last name is asshole. And so then, as a little wink and a nod to Robert Kirkman in the show, on the mailbox it said Smith.
I like that.
So
Okay, that's
based off of Robert Kirkman's own, like, I don't fucking know. You know what? You know what? You want a last name? It's Smith. Okay? You wanted one so bad, I gave you one.
Man, it could have been Negan Jones, though. That's so much cooler.
that almost sounds like Nathan Jones, and that's not as cool. That's a deep dive wrestling reference. Anyway, guys, Falcon and Winter Soldier. Falcon and Winter Soldier. Falcon and Winter Soldier. We're going back to that show. We didn't talk about last week's episode with the big freak out with John Walker, which I absolutely loved, by the way. It was a great comic book ending. I believe, Dick, you said that is a comic book cover with him standing there with the freaking blood.
The shot up with the blood on the fucking thing.
Yeah.
I wanted that to be the JIC for the thumbnail. Like, it's so good.
No, but it, like, coming off of last week, the pacing for this week picks it up right where it left off. You don't have to wait. You don't. The pacing of this show feels so different compared to other shows because of that. Because it is, I don't think it's as designed so much as a traditional television show, as in they're still spacing it out for the episodic style, but the overall arc is more movie-esque.
Yeah, it's definitely paced like a movie, an extended movie.
Yeah, so
it's great. It's like if we got a true sequel to Winter Soldier.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know Civil War is the sequel to it, but
Yeah.
that feels also a lot more like an Avengers movie than a.
Sure.
It dabbles back and forth. So
it also is kind of that middle ground with Civil War being. It was not just an Avengers movie as much as it was an introduction for a lot of things that still are getting paid off now.
Yes.
And I mean, I'm talking even the Zemo story is so well done. And we got in this week's episode some real beautiful moments with Zemo.
Yeah.
And like very powerful. And I loved the interaction with him and Bucky. You know, he's at the statue. I'm guessing is that his family.
Well, that's just
that's the
Sokovian
the memorial for Sokovia.
And he's just kind of like reflecting, and then that's obviously impactful because a lot of his motivation was because of Age of Ultron. Like, y'all dropped a fucking city, motherfuckers. Like, what? So for him, he's in this reflecting moment. It's beautiful. Bucky shows up. Then there's the gun, and my first thought is, I think this is just going to be a test for Bucky. Like, this is Bucky willing to go back to his old ways? And in hearing the dialogue that they go through in that moment, we're doing something different this time. We're trying it a different way, you know, because Zemo is hell-bent on the only way to stop Carly is to kill her. The end. There's only one ends to that mean, and that's to end her because she's a super soldier and because super soldiers are dangerous is kind of what his belief is. And he's not really wrong based on his experience, you know? So having that really powerful moment where Bucky pulls the gun up and puts it right to his head, and there's just like the tension of, I think all of us as Marvel fans are going, oh, he's definitely going to kill him. Like, he's going to shoot this motherfucker right in the head.
Yeah, and even Zemo's accepted it. He's just like,
and then he doesn't. And that's even more powerful because to go back to something that I think you're genuinely meant to forget the book, James's book of forgiveness. And that moment where Zemo says, you aren't, you know, you don't have to worry. I've forgiven you. Like, I took the liberty of crossing my name off of your book because I don't hold a grudge with you. You know, I've accepted this peace. But Bucky had too. Bucky also knew he knew that the fucking Dora Milaje was there to take him away.
Yeah. You notice where they're taking him to?
Wakanda.
No, they're taking her.
The raft. That's right. They dropped the name of the raft, and it's like.
But why would they take him to the raft and not Wakanda? Because they're setting up Thunderbolts.
That makes the most. That actually is like.
I've been watching some YouTube videos
Dick is in on it. Yeah, because that actually makes a lot of sense. And I love that they bring the raft reference up again with Zemo being last seen in Civil War, and the raft is where who was last in there? Falcon, and
Hawkeye, Ant-Man,
yep,
Scarlet Witch.
So they were all, locked away.
Formerly not Scarlet Witch, Wanda.
Yeah, but they were all locked up. And now you have one person who is an actual supervillain, technically, because he's very, very, very smart. And he, honestly, it's perfect that Zemo would be the first for the Thunderbolts because he is definitely towing that anti-hero line. He has, you could make the argument that his reasoning for hating super soldiers and the Avengers and all that makes a fuck ton of sense, right? As you could make the same argument for Ultron, but Ultron was a machine, so less empathy. But then you look at Zemo and he's lost people and there's sadness there in a real story. You're like, I could kind of get where he's coming from. So having him as this anti-hero sitting in a cell waiting, and you maybe have a couple other people get dropped into said cell. I'm not sure what your different comic book YouTube videos were suggesting the team be, but there has been a extreme large array of people that have been Thunderbolts, from Red Hulk to Punisher to fucking Deadpool has been, I think, at one point a Thunderbolt.
Well, let's look at who we got left out there. We got Abomination still.
Yeah, and we know that
Thunderbolt Ross still.
We know that Tim Roth is coming back for She-Hulk.
And then we got John Walker,
U.S. agent. Okay.
U.S. agent.
Okay, so Zemo, U.S. agent. That's two. Oh my God, they're gonna put Walker in the raft at the end of the fucking show. That's brilliant. Oh, that's so fucking good. Because then Zemo and fucking Walker are gonna talk, and they're gonna have the same philosophy.
We got Ghost from Ant-Man 2.
She is definitely an anti-hero. Okay, unless she got blipped.
Well, she'd be back by now.
Oh, yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah.
Everybody's unblipped now, except for, the ones that didn't get blipped and definitely
died before
on Vormir.
Oh, I love that reference.
And then we don't even know maybe there might be somebody from Black Widow going into that. Because we got a cameo from somebody in this episode that I guess was supposed to be introduced in Black Widow last year, so that's why it seems so out of place now.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Julia Dreyfus.
Julia Dreyfus.
Oh.
Yep. As Madam Hydra. Possibly Madam Hydra.
I saw that. I'm like, is this a Seinfeld episode? And I'm like, I'm waiting for the bass. Like,
no, it's the New Adventures of Old Christine.
Also
Also has Agent Coulson.
What?
The New Adventures of Old Christine. It was a sitcom with Julia Dreyfus, and it had the guy who plays
Coulson.
Agent Coulson.
That's amazing.
That's how I knew him, and I was like, oh, hell yeah. I love this guy.
Deep cut motherfucker over here.
I used to watch CBS 3 nights a week because I had nothing better to do growing up. So
nice.
I was big on those sitcoms, like How I Met Your Mother and shit like that.
Amazing.
Crazy. Zing.
What did you guys think of this episode though? Overall,
I loved it. I fucking loved it, and this show kind of started off really soft for me. Coming off of WandaVision, I was like, sweet. Now we get some action-packed kick-ass spy action, and then it started out really slow, and with all the stuff with Sam and his sister, I'm like, oh, is this kind of what we're gonna be getting? Just him dealing with the real life drama, which is cool. But I don't know if that's what I wanted for this series.
Sure.
But then as it progresses like a movie, and you get into it, and then you get sucked into it, and then the action just climbs at an awesome pace when we get to episode 4.
Definitely.
And you get all that, and now we're in the thick of it.
I really appreciated the getting the action out of the way early to carry on from the last episode instead of having to draw it out to get to that fight. By doing that, the last few episodes have felt pretty high octane kind of.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff going on, and that coming into this episode early, it was a continuation of that. But then it calms itself back down to wrap up some of those other stories.
Nothing but character development.
It's all character stuff, and they're doing that because the next episode is going to have probably some big action sequences, and and like another big boss fight. Also, I saw a comic earlier. It's like one of those like alien comics, where they're like, is everything okay? Yes, I'm having fun. Yes, but you sound frustrated. I enjoy being frustrated. That's what makes this game so fun. And it's like, oh, that's ominous music. He's the final supervisor. Instead of the final boss, it's final supervisor. So John Walker going to be the final supervisor of Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Okay, so that's got to definitely be the episode title. That picture, him holding the shield, final supervisor. That's amazing.
I like that they hinted at it, but don't show you Sam's new outfit. That
What's in the box?
What's in the box from, Well, also, I like the how it meant they were like really on the nose with this, but I do like how it's symbolic that during their fight in the beginning of the episode, John Walker rips Sam's wings off. So he enters that fight with the wings and leaves without the wings, but with the shield.
I like how I didn't even think of it symbolically. I was just like, oh, he's gonna have to get a new suit.
No, yeah, he's not Falcon anymore.
But that is cool.
His transformation is happening. We also got, aside from, Eye of the Tiger playing, a pretty cool training montage of Sam Wilson. But you know what? I will say one thing that they, be damned, obviously always evident and always timely because the universe is never changing, unfortunately. The Isaiah conversation with they're never going to let a black man be Captain America and what that stands for and what timing with everything that's happening in our world right now and just the tensions that are happening in the real world are very, very powerful. So those messages, especially a lot of my coworkers and friends definitely loved kind of what they were saying. What does America really stand for other than oppression against the black man? Because it's really what it is. And that sucks, but that's like the truth. And until there is a change, and we've seen that in the presidential sense for a short amount of time, but really until there's a change and as a whole for empathy and people thinking more for their fellow man, things are never going to change but always spin, unfortunately.
Somebody was trying to argue on Twitter.
Of course. Every sentence, any argument starts on Twitter now.
Right. But took the quote, "They'll never let a black man be Captain America," and responded with a picture of Iron Patriot. Like it's the same thing.
Okay.
Stop.
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
Because they're like, well, I mean, come on, it's red, white, and blue, and it's pretty much Iron Man meets Captain America. And I'm thinking, no, dude, you don't understand this. The symbolic gesture of what Captain America is supposed to stand for. The symbol of excellence, the symbol of good. Think back to all those comic book, references and even covers of Captain America punching Hitler in the face, standing up against fascism, standing up against racism, standing up against all these things. Even though it is very easy to sit there and look at the core of what the person is supposed to be blanketing and incorporating as our values in America, doesn't really fit. However, it is a figurehead and dream of aspiration of what we all should try to be. That is where you have, Steve Rogers, Captain America, seemingly altruistic, and even kind of maybe could get fun of for being such a fucking,
It's very gullible.
Well, I was thinking of like a Boy Scout type deal, but literally. Wouldn't we all be better off if we were all more accepting and stood up for what was right? So that's where that's important. It's not so much even the color of his skin, but it does get that way when you look at how the politics and bullshittery of the last 200 or 300 years in this country, and how everything boils down to, like, what? You're still not happy? No. because there's still a lot of shit fucked up. And what better way to replace the symbol of excellence that was Steve Rogers than with Sam Wilson, who is a good person. He's a black man. He's a good person, and who we should all aspire to be. Therefore, trying to break down that barrier of hate and discrimination.
Also a regular person because he doesn't have the serum.
Yeah, and you see, I've been wondering if they were going to work that way in to have him take it.
I don't think he needs to.
I don't think he will, no.
I don't think he needs to, but I'm just wondering, like, off of a need of a necessity. Because according to, what's his name, Lamar?
Yeah.
He said the serum will enhance who you already are.
Ooh.
So John Walker was kind of a piece of shit before. Not necessarily a bad dude.
He did the things that he had to do.
He's not a good guy.
That's how that conversation was.
He's not a bad guy. He was the guy.
He was the guy.
One thing I saw on a meme was so the red, white, and blue on the American flag, the white stands for purity. Captain America Steve Rogers had white in his suit. John Walker does not. It's just more symbolism.
And from the leaked imagery,
his Sam's suit's mostly white.
Mostly white.
Damn. Breaking it down deep on JIC today, motherfuckers. We're back.
I see memes. I read them.
I really enjoyed John going before like the court and him having that breakdown.
I thought he was going to get in that dude's face though.
And then him at the end welding and piecing together his own shield. Obviously not vibranium.
Oh, wait, that was at the end of that?
Yeah.
Oh, that was the trailer for this week. So I guess I wasn't going to spoil anything by saying that was the trailer. I didn't say the trailer because I
like how they're using scenes from the prior episode as the trailer for the next episode.
Well, it's kind of
continuation of that.
Yeah, it's kind of symbolic of the first Iron Man.
Yeah. Oh, see, that's exactly what I'm
He's
pretty
hitting
sure
at the same pace.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that my wife said, "Oh, so he's gonna Iron Man his own fucking shield now." Like,
yeah,
yeah, he is, and he's gonna lose. So no, I'm really enjoying the show, and I can't wait for this week to wrap it up. But we'll move that forward, Nate, because Blaine didn't watch it. Invincible.
Family, this show is crazy. It's driving me nuts because they keep doing more twists and turns that I'm not expecting. It's the perfect storm of you think you know what's coming, and then before you know what's coming, they've totally changed what's happening at all, and you're like, wait, what? What? I think this week was better because it didn't have as much shock twist as much as it had revelation.
Mm-hmm.
We know now Debbie knows what's really going on. Nolan knows that Debbie knows what's really going on. Art knows that Debbie knows and that Nolan probably fucking knows what's going on. So the only person at this point in the whole show who's naive as fuck, who has no idea, is Mark. Is Invincible. And this episode also was him being a kid and not necessarily worrying as much about real world shit for a little bit until real world shit came back to smack them.
Right. See, this episode kind of picks up after the last episode, which we haven't talked about, which, damn.
The Titan beatdown was insane. Now, Dick, let me tell you.
I don't care if this gets spoiled for me. Just
in this manner, I don't think you will even recognize or know what we're talking about, really. But so the new Guardians show up to Machine Head's tower, and they're gonna take him on. And of course, Machine Head is like the master of money. So all the epic villains we've kind of seen scattered so far through the series all show up, plus a new one who's just like, who is this fucking brute? Jesus, okay. And then the Guardians proceed to get murked out bigly. Invincible's there. Titan is there fighting alongside of them. Chaos ensues. That big white lion motherfucker devastates Invincible in a way that I can't even. That was like a. Do you know what my first thought was? Poor Steven Yen. First the head, then the chest. Jesus Christ.
I know.
You know, like, oh man. But then, all in all, that most powerful moment with the Ohana Bam song playing "Make Way for the King" there, with Titan kind of. He's now the top dog and the game has changed. You're just like, what's coming? And what I kind of really loved is while we get the fallout of what happened to the Guardians in this episode this week, we don't really get the fucking follow up to what Titan is up to.
Yeah.
So is that going to be a wraparound that kind of is, a tail end later? Maybe he comes and saves the day and we get a whole seismic chain. Who knows?
It could be something that they don't even touch on this season because it was something that it was a little storyline to do something that could be tied into the next season.
Definitely. And then, you have Damien Darkblood is kind of MIA. Again, Debbie has done her detective work and found the truth out. And it's like a holy shit moment when, her and Art are piecing through what he found. But my whole thing was like, literally, I was watching the episode, and as soon as I saw that scene, I looked at V because she's now totally all in on Invincible. And I was like, Debbie's dead. Like before this episode's over, Nolan is going to kill her. And it's going to be this like dark, brutal, fucked up moment. And that's not at all what they did. And I'm like, wait, what? That was his response? Really?
So
like, what?
The thing is that you can pick up clearly who wrote this storyline.
Sure.
You can pick up clearly who's written this storyline.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
What I like about it is that it rides that line of superheroes, Spider-Man, Guardians of the Galaxy, Justice League, just regular world of heroes. And of course, the Spider-Man stuff deals with Mark having to balance his superhero life with his regular life, and it never works out. Come on now. That's
the Guardians of the Globe or is your Guardians of the Galaxy kind of also your Justice League.
Yeah, exactly. So like you got that stuff going in there, but then it's like the overall. So like that's your setting ish, but then it's written by somebody who writes The Walking Dead, and so therefore. The story doesn't necessarily go where you think it's going to go. That is one of Kirkman's flagship telltale things. And the thing is that now that he's finished with this entire series, when they're writing this one, he is like, ooh, now we can foreshadow better because I didn't even know where I was going last time. But now we know, so I can foreshadow a little bit better. And for anybody who has read it, we might throw in some cool little curveballs to say, you know what? If I had to do it over, maybe I would change this just to see. Of course, as you said, they did that in The Walking Dead as well. But I
think here Kirkman has way more control over how he can change the things that he did in the book versus what he's doing in the show. Also, he has the ability to condense and consolidate some of those stories into a lesser amount of time because it's not as much exposition when, one comic book, 23 pages could also be 7 minutes of dialogue in a show.
Right. Yeah.
So you have more exposition, more time to build your world out and things happen a little bit faster. So you are afforded the availability to make some certain tweaks. And, we started reading Invincible way back, but I never finished it. I really want to go back now and pick it back up. And now that the show is happening, go through it.
I am at a weird place. I feel like while reading the comics for The Walking Dead and then watching The Walking Dead was fun to catch the differences. Ultimately, because one is better than the other, it kind of ruined my enjoyment of watching. Whereas here, I can watch and not expect things to come and then enjoy it and then go back and read its source material to see where it differs from there. Because I might enjoy it better there, but I won't forget how much I enjoyed it the first time. You know,
Exactly.
whereas, you know, I felt like the opposite didn't work for me when the show would do something stupid in Walking Dead. Who knows? I still might have thought it was stupid, but at least I could, you know, I felt like, well, they're deviating. I don't like this, you know. Whereas, you know,
Well, but the deviation choices sometimes were also really bad.
well, it doesn't matter because, like, if I'm not knowledgeable to the deviations, that means they're not deviations to me.
I guess that's fair.
Not until later. It's almost like when you read Harry Potter, then you go watch
And
the
then
movie,
watch the movies.
and you're like,
Yep.
wow, you know, this version was not very good, but they had to condense so much. So no, I'm really enjoying the series. And I also, Nate, what do you feel like about all these cameos and guest appearances this week? The main villain was voiced by Ezra Miller.
Dude, they have so many names that joined for this show. It's awesome. It's awesome to see all these different people working together. You've had Lenny James on the show. You've had Seth Rogen on the show. Like you said, Ezra Miller, Mark Hamill has been a voice. I mean, that's just a few names off the top of my head. Mahershala Ali is Titan, which amazing.
I know.
Sandra Oh, you've got J.K. Simmons. Like, it is a all-star cast through and through. Steven Yeun, obviously, like, full stop. He's like, his acting. Some of the noises they have to make. Can you imagine Steven Yeun doing, and this is not a spoiler because it's the very first episode and it's like the most basic ass shit to talk about. Like, can you imagine having to do the sounds of getting punched in the stomach by your superhero dad and then respond to him of like, why did you hit me? Oh, you know, and like he's in the booth, like the visualistics of that. Steven Yeun's an amazing actor. Yes. So I also want to say, with this show going as well as it is, I really hope Amazon picks up Chew.
Absolutely.
Because Steven Yeun was on board to play Tony Chu when I think it was Cinemax or Showtime, one of those had the rights for a small time, and then they didn't do the animated series. Bastards.
So, also, Michael Dorn played Battle Beast.
Nice.
That was that. I'm pretty sure Battle Beast was that lion dude, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And then Carrie Payton plays Black Samson.
Yep.
Also, and we might have mentioned this already, but quite literally, the first episode of the show
has so many Walking Dead cast.
It's so many Walking Dead. It's like half the cast.
Mark Marquand. What was it?
Lauren Cohen, War Woman.
Yep. Chad
L. Coleman, Martian Man. Michael Cudlitz, Red Rush.
That's the Flash.
Also, John Hamm was in the first episode as a character, as a side character named Steve.
He's like the
guard,
the stepdad, right?
Yeah, it was something.
And the kid, like when the burger meat that Invincible threw lands in the UK,
yeah,
and it like splatters all over him. He saves his son, his stepson. He's like, Dad, and then he's like, you called me Dad.
Yeah,
yeah, that was all John Hamm really did.
Also, Sonequa Martin Green plays Green Ghost in that first. So that like first episode is packed, but my gosh, the acting is top notch here. J.K. Simmons knocks it out of the park every single episode. What was that face for there, Nate?
I just got a cramp in my kneecap.
I said that and you went like, oh, do you disagree that J.K. Simmons is not good in this? But you had a cramp in your hold on, a cramp in your kneecap?
I went to put straighten my knee and it grinded instead of just like straightening. Yeah.
I've never had a cramp in my kneecap. I've had a cramp around the kneecap, the kneecap apparatus.
Kneecap apparatus. Jesus Christ.
Huh. All right.
But no.
Supervisor and the kneecap apparatus. Okay.
No, Dick, Blaine, whatever your name is this week.
Hey. What's up?
Give the show give the show a chance. I
I
think
will.
I think
I
you'll really
just
dig
started rewatching Game of Thrones, so maybe I'll just watch this instead.
Do that.
it. I mean, number one, there's only like 6 episodes.
Yeah, there's no reason I can't just blast through that.
No, hell no, and it is so good. Like at first, as with anything, people who maybe have watched Watchmen can understand when you dive into a world that has a bunch of superheroes, you like have no idea who any of them are. It's hard to care because the one thing that makes it to where like the MCU and DCEU and that stuff is so successful is because of the familiarity we are with some of these characters over time.
Right.
So it's
Rich character history.
yeah, so like it goes back decades for some of us, or even that you're like, oh, I remember Iron Man. He was a dude in a robot suit, and then it's like sometimes it just starts there, and you're able to get everybody. With this, you are starting from just literal zero. You have to figure out.
You know, I had to deal with that with the boys,
Yep, the boys.
but at the same time, it didn't really put me off too much. I was actually really interested in each character as they introduced him. Like, ooh, what's he?
That's
do?
cool.
Oh, this guy's really an asshole. Let's see him a little more.
See, and that's what has got me here. There's a few characters here. Like of course, like Mark Invincible. He's like he's the lead kid character, so you're kind of on the road with him a little bit. But it's also his dad. I want to know so much more about what's going on with him and
his story about why he came to Earth from Viltrum is wrong. He's lying about that story.
it could be for
Full stop. Like I think he got exiled for being like an evil bastard because as we've seen, he has done some crazy, violently evil shit, including destroying an entire planet in another dimension. Yeah. It was pretty epic. He flew at warp speeds and destroyed a whole planet, and it was pretty fucking brutal, bro. It was, and like the most brutal part is when he comes back and he's like, he went in clean shaven. He comes out full fucking gray and black beard. That's how much work he did to devastate this planet. Like,
well, time
he fucking put it in.
Time passes differently there too. So like,
time also does pass differently there.
Gotcha.
But another character who I'm really interested in is Robot, voiced by Zachary Quinto. Like I want to know more about what's going on with him. What are his true intentions? All this stuff. It seems like every time they show him, they either introduce something new along with it, but not enough to where you actually get, or even be able to start piecing stuff together to wonder what the hell are you doing? They just inch it along.
I'm going to vaguely say something that Brandon will totally understand. They did one of the best, most cleverest fucking like scene switches with Robot. So there was a scene with the clones, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then like the next thing you know, you're in Guardians HQ because he was surveying the clones, and then like switch. Oh, it was so fucking good. I was like, yes, I am here for that kind of cinematography. No,
great show, great stuff.
Totally.
We're getting a double dosage of really cool and awesome superhero stuff coming out. And at a time where like it's kind of still of a lull, even though it's coming out every single week. What I'm really liking about that is that, Invincible isn't coming out when there's a myriad of MCU movies just hitting us over the face, and then DC movies come around the corner and then all the Marvel shows. So therefore, like something like Invincible, that's just an animated show. That's what some people might just think of it, and it might take a while for it to catch on. Here, its only real competition in the same field is Falcon and Winter Soldier, and there's definitely a room for both to exist.
So I don't think, given, the subject matter is still superheroes doing superhero things with their superhero plot lines.
Yeah.
And I think what's cool about this is we're not going to get quite the same superhero fatigue like a lot of us might have had with all the Marvel MCU stuff, a little bit of the DCEU stuff, because these are basically third-party superheroes. Like we don't know these guys; these are brand new.
Yeah.
So we can invest ourselves in learning their stories and their backstories. And I'm telling you, they're characters who we were introduced to that we already know so little about in Invincible that even now we're still long beyond when I expected to be learning about them or learning about them as time goes on, based on how good of a storyteller Kirkman is. And he just like sprinkling it in here and there.
And I'm sure a lot of these characters have some or a lot of the same tropes from other characters pre-existing. Like there's a Flash character.
We'll see. Yeah,
What,
in
what universe doesn't have a speedster equivalent?
right. And so like when you start the show, you definitely see that with some of the guys that are there in the beginning. They're almost like placeholders for that same stereotype. Like I said,
Yeah,
a character
you just kind of can't. You kind of just got to give up the whole "we've seen this before" and just enjoy it.
and see, the thing is, exactly what you said, but also like those characters were designed as a wink and nod of, hey, this is a tribute in sorts to these characters, and these are your stereotypical what you kind of already know, so we don't have to spend a lot of time telling you everything about them because we're actually going to start more new after this episode anyway.
Absolutely.
We're just establishing that the fact that heroes exist. But fellas, here at the end of the show, we're going to talk about some leakage, some spoilers, potential plot spoilers for the third Spider-Man movie. If you guys want to clock out now, leave. Go away.
Hold on. Let's help them and fill your brains
with shit.
Later,
right.
guys who don't want these spoilers.
All right, so now
Speaking of leakage, did you know that diarrhea is genetic? It runs in your genes. Oh man, I said that in our group chat like a month ago. Yeah. Nate's hunched over in disappointment right now.
So
I see this.
What's a
You're
frog's?
still here.
What's a? Well, I kind of can't leave.
Yeah.
But what is a frog's favorite shoe?
I've actually heard this one like yesterday, I think.
Open-toed shoes.
Yep. Maybe you told me it the other day. Somebody told it to me yesterday or something.
I saw it yesterday on a billboard, and it.
Oh my god.
Anyways, so the show's over for everybody else. Everybody else that's still here. You guys.
I mean, I cleared them out easily.
Yeah. If they weren't gone, they're gone now. So we did find out for a fact, he has admitted to it, Alfred Molina is in the next Spider-Man movie. He said it was fun. It was great to see everybody. He hasn't done anything like that since they did Spider-Man 2. He's a little bit older. He's got more crow's feet. He's got a double chin, and his back hurts. That was his summary of him doing this movie. He was essentially.
And that being said, they de-aged him.
Yeah. Yes. So therefore, we're starting off with that. Here we are with leakage, not of the anal kind, but of the nerdy kind, where the movie starts off right where the last one ended, and there is a time skip.
What?
There's a time skip where Peter is in court. There's a lot going on. He's trying to prove his innocence. This isn't going to be a full-blown step-by-step. This is how the movie's going to go.
So we're just going to be getting montage mode of this.
Montage mode. Doctor Strange calls out and says there's something going on and the multiverse is breaking. That could be leftover damage or possibly starting damage from WandaVision. We don't know yet. Villains are going around from other worlds and into the others. So these holes are opening up, and we're getting interdimensional travel here. Doctor Strange is trying to capture them and put them in a special-made prison. So he's made some sort of prison to gather up all these bad guys. The villains somehow escape because Peter, Tom Holland, messes with stuff. I like how it's really vague. It just he messes like, what's this? Oh no.
I feel like that's probably something where like one of the villains that come through is going to be someone that looks like someone that Peter knows, a familiar face maybe look like Ben, and he's going to be like, I can get you out, I can help you, and is trying to talk him down and goes to the raft or whatever special containment unit Strange has, and then fucking lets everyone out because he's a stupid ass.
Tobey Maguire and Andy Garfield are in the second and third act of the movie. How they met or how they came into the verse is unknown. They both help Tom Holland's Spider-Man capture the villains. There are scenes in the movie with just Tobey Maguire and Andy Garfield alone, so they have like their own separate time And the movie's final act is on the Statue of Liberty that now looks like a big Captain America with the shield.
Interesting.
All the villains are there with Tom Holland Spider-Man, Maguire Spider-Man, and Garfield Spider-Man, so they probably have a big, huge multi-Spidey, multi-villain fight. So none of this is stuff that we couldn't have just outright predicted or said that was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Stark's arc reactor is present and in the scene, and every villain is trying to get their hands on it for something. This part's not very clear. So this arc reactor must not exist in their version of the verse.
With Doc Ock coming in, that's feasible.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Power of the sun in my hands. Yeah.
Well, exactly. And what's very interesting here is then how the worlds and verses differ, because our MCU is a world where Tony Stark invented the arc reactor, and in theirs it never happened, so things developed and processed completely differently.
Could mean that we have a universe where Hank Pym is the precipice of the story. There's a universe where the old school Avengers are the only Avengers to ever exist.
Mm-hmm.
West Coast Avengers. I mean, there's so many different possibilities that you could run with. To quickly, not to tangent, but to talk within the MCU. At some point, very much like Machete Order exists for Star Wars, I feel like at some point we're going to all have to watch the MCU pre-COVID order. Because you know how they were going to come out in a certain order, and then everything has shifted and changed. Like thinking about WandaVision to Falcon, talking about the weirdness of Julia Louis-Dreyfus showing up in the Falcon and Winter Soldier, us having no idea what her presence means. Like, it would be interesting to go back and watch it like pre-shuffled.
Which I feel like, since you mentioned that there's going to be like a time jump in this league, that has something to do with the quarantine, like why they haven't, like why there is such a long time. That way they also keep it relevant with the year and all that.
All the villains are eventually defeated and put back into the prison of Doctor Strange. All of them except for Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin.
Ooh.
Goblin kills someone major. Who this is, we're not sure on, but Tom Holland's Peter was crying and enraged.
Oh, Ned. It's Ned. He's going to kill Ned.
He tries to kill the Green Goblin, but wasn't successful in doing so in the end. The movie ends with Peter finishing high school, not clear on what happens with Toby or Andrew. So yeah, that is all, because I guess there's more in-depth stuff possibly, but that's kind of where we'll hit and quit it off there. This was found on Reddit, so nothing here that was too surprising. There's also some thoughts that what we're going to get with now everybody knowing the secret identity of Peter, Tom Holland's Peter, is going to set into a world of problems for him. Going, as I said, going to court. Is that our Matt Murdock cameo? Is this lawyer? Come on, I'll mark out. I will mark out if his lawyer's fucking Matt Murdock, and he just comes in. He's just
Same.
with his stick, and he doesn't. He's trying to defend Peter, but Peter doesn't know he's Daredevil, and but he knows Peter's obviously Spider-Man. That it would kind of come back in the end, hopefully with a little help, where we get to see him in the outfit, but this doesn't necessarily say, but I've heard the rumor that they're going to try and use Doctor Strange to try and do a spell where he kind of erases everyone's memory that Peter is Spider-Man. And that when he goes along, there's going to be some little talking points between Peter and the other versions of the characters, specifically like Tobey Maguire, and him could have a kind of a big brother, little brother kind of moment, where he tells him it's very important to keep, your life here and your life here separate. Like basically if everybody knows who you are, you endanger all those around you. That's why you keep it hidden. I would love to see him try to wow, yeah, you know what, you're right. I need to take more, I need to be more careful of that. And then I would love for the lesson that he learns from Andy Garfield. What happens with Andy Garfield in his movie? Someone who he loved very dear ended up dying because of him. And
Like, just move this way, Dick, for a second. That moment.
Yeah.
So then if we get that moment, like imagine him killing Ned, Green Goblin killing Ned. And it's a direct response. It's because he was irresponsible. All because he came through the window that day, forgetting that Ned was going to be there. And now Ned's dead. Despite Ned wanting to do it, and that's his own deal. He wanted to be like Spider-Man's gear guy, and his help, his direct involvement was led to Ned's death. And also, if we get the whole Doctor Strange whirly arms, nobody remembers Peter Parker's Spider-Man. MJ no longer knows anymore, and it essentially ends that relationship.
Damn.
So then we end Spider-Man 3 with Tom Holland losing his best friend, breaking up with his girlfriend to go off to college, carrying some scars with him, and hard lessons. Man, that's a hard movie, but it's great. But
Where's he gonna go to college? San Francisco.
Dun dun dun.
This motherfucker gets it. That's a Venom reference, y'all.
I'm ready for Venom 2.
Like that.
We did a 4-hour podcast on that, Nate. I will look at you how I want.
I'm a less hater now, okay? I'm a less hater. I still have
good.
only seen that shit once. That movie was terrible.
It wasn't terrible. It just wasn't MCU quality.
No.
Fair. But it was also terrible.
It wasn't as bad as you think. I've seen a lot worse.
That's true.
I've seen a lot worse. I mean,
Saw Electra 2. That was,
It was
bad.
terrible.
I mean, Shaquille O'Neal's Steel.
Is
Okay.
a tornado happening outside?
This is cool. So this kind of goes into what I was wanting to ask you guys.
Sure.
Maybe we could close out the show with this.
Penis.
Anyway, so are there any like random movies you've watched like lately, like that you've seen in the past, but you're just like, I'm gonna watch this?
Shit, breaking everything.
No,
Any-
nothing. I really haven't been watching much of anything. So my wife shared something the other day that kind of made me kind of sad inside. No,
Sorry.
no, like it truly did, because she shared it the day that I was smoking pulled pork on the grill, and she said, there comes a point in every man's life when he turns 35, he has to choose a passion, and that is World War II or smoking meats.
Yep.
I've been doing
seen
both. I've been doing both. And I don't know which one I want to give up. I've been watching weird random shit on World War II. And I've been watching, as typical, YouTube videos, cooking, everything else, just random shit. That's how I ingest my entertainment. I've been watching a little bit of baseball. But as far as movies and everything goes, I really haven't been watching any movies. Other than Moana, Frozen 1, and Frozen 2 on literally repeat for the last 4 or 5
naturally.
weeks.
House with kids, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
Movie, no.
No.
TV series, yeah. Watch Q Into the Storm on HBO Max. It is incredible. This dude was just trying to figure some answers out and shit, and he gets to some real interesting fucking knowledge about like that whole thing and who started it, and like, wow, man, people are fucking, let me tell you, hold on. I don't do this often, okay? I'm gonna get real close here. Hi, listen to me. If, and I'm not trying to be judgmental, but if you fell for that QAnon bullshit, you need to go get your mental health checked out. You were duped by a Filipino kid who does not care about American politics. You stupid fucks.
Language.
Stop it. Q is not real. It's a joke. You clowns. The end. Okay, that was my rant.
So I watched on Saturday
Penis.
the 1995 Kevin Costner classic,
Field of Dreams?
Waterworld.
Dude, fucking V loves Waterworld, fam.
I grew up with it, so I love it too, and it holds up. It holds up.
It's a good movie. It is
It
a good
holds up.
movie. It is. It's all right.
It's definitely 1995 as fuck.
Yep.
The
got
language and
what's his name in it?
oh,
Plays the bad guy.
Yeah, I can't remember his name either.
Asshole. I can't think of his name.
Yeah. He says the R word at one point. I was like, man, that would not hold up.
No, yeah, you can't say things in those old movies. Sometimes there are movies that I watch and I'm like, oh wow, he dropped an F like I would not ever.
There's a bunch of them. There's a bunch of them.
It gets insane. There are some movies that hold up that are more like actually I did recently watch a movie that was fun as shit to watch with V that you guys should experience. Harlem Nights.
Harlem Nights.
Seen it?
Nope.
Heard of it?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, Brandon?
Oh yeah, I've
it?
seen it. I've seen it.
Okay. So Harlem Nights is an all-star black cast. It's got Arsenio Hall. It's got Richard Pryor. It's got Eddie Murphy.
Red Fox.
I mean, Red Fox isn't. Yeah, I mean, it's packed, and it's a gangster story, and it's fucking hilarious. But it's intense. There's some like real intense language in that movie to get through because of like you think about the times and shit. However, it's a testament that times have never changed. It's as relevant then as it is relevant now as it was relevant to, you know, what that movie was saying back in the 30s is where it's timepieced at, you know. So, yeah.
We did start watching the sequel to Coming to America too, or Coming to America. And
yeah, it was okay.
So far, about an hour in, because I fell asleep. Yeah, it's just pretty funny. The issue is that humor has changed from the 80s until now. So the way that humor is designed in movies has changed. What I really think is funny is how the movie itself is calling out like certain things that just aren't kosher anymore. So I thought that was kind of fun. But overall, I'm enjoying it. I marked out a little bit at the cameo from In Vogue and Salt and Pepper at the very beginning. I thought that was funny. I'm like, yeah,
like whoa,
yeah, this movie has more of a budget than the first one did.
lots more.
But no, that's just very random. And I guess is actually in answer to the question. I did start Miles Morales, the game, so I'm playing my first official PS5 game now.
Nice.
It looks fantastic. The story is pretty good so far. And yeah, that's pretty much all I'll say about it because there's kind of some spoilers there. But I am, unlike a coworker of ours who did not enjoy having Spider-Man Plus more, I am enjoying the Plus more. This guy that we worked with hated the fact that Miles gets like electricity powers and invisibility powers.
He's a different Spider-Man, you fuck.
He didn't like it.
Hell yeah, hell yeah.
Play
Hell
this
yeah.
for him. He's a different Spider-Man, you fuck.
I was hoping while we were talking about Rank 'em All earlier to be able to play the "We're gonna fight" clip because that was just that is still saved as its own separate video clip and is absolutely hilarious.
I love it.
But
I was talking to Nick about that.
It's in our
because yesterday we recorded an episode of Rank 'em All BT Bam.
Awesome.
And I was like, up until this point, we've all been like pretty much on the same page, like just gushing, like not to spoil anything, but like we love this shit. And finally, I hit an album where I was not having it. I was more Nick from Rank 'em All Metallica than Dick from
Rank 'em All Metallica.
Rank 'em All in general. So I was really harsh on this album, and the other scores do not reflect mine whatsoever.
That's funny. But yeah, guys, I think it's going to wrap it up here today on the episode. Happy birthday once again, Nate.
We did it.
Thanks, bro. Appreciate you.
That's
I appreciate Dick coming to my house to hang out with me today.
I appreciate you and your 34 years of existence.
Speak words, young
Blah, blah,
man.
blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, it was hardcore. Hey, guys, tomorrow this 420. Enjoy that holiday. That's all I'm saying. I want to thank you guys for coming on the show, Brando. It's good to see you as always, Dick. It's great to have you on.
Good to be here.
We are gearing up for 350, as we said. As always, folks, check us out on all the different podcasting platforms. That's Apple Music, Amazon Music, Podbean, Stitcher Radio, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, CastBox, Google Podcasts, and many others. Just search Journey into Comics Network. You'll be getting a bunch of new stuff. We've got more stuff coming up. I have more things to fucking upload to the network that I forgot. Sorry, guys, that like Journey into Wrestling on the audio feed. Whoops. I'll get to you, I promise. My bad. But I think that is going to do it for this week's episode of Journey into Comics 341, the final Supervisor. I've been Nate.
I've been Brando.
I'm Dick.
And as always, folks, pop those caps back and fill your brains with birthday cake. Later, guys.